Good morning, good evening, or whatever the time zone it is for you. Welcome to what is going to go down in history as the 4th episode of Just Playing Games with Master Trainer Peter. I'm joined, as per usual, by my fantastic friends, Barlow and Zora. How are we today?
We are friends, not just colleagues. This is good. This is good.
You've been upgraded.
Good to know where we stand.
Yeah, I moved you higher on the list.
Good. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm right. I'm wearing an hoodie. I've been sick over the last week because I got the flu. Not COVID. I've done plenty of tests for that, but no, I got the flu and I've been on my sofa all weekend. And I ordered a Sonic the Hedgehog hoodie, and it came in and it's wonderful.
I was going to say, is it an official one or one of the unofficial ones? But look, if it's Sonic, it's probably official.
It is, yeah. It's licensed. Oh, it's licensed at least. It came with the label. And yeah, it's great. Like I've got a picture on my Instagram. There's just loads and loads of really cool like little slogans and stuff all over it, and pictures of Sonic, and like you can find different characters. Like I just found Knuckles on here. He's hidden on here as well. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Bonus Knuckles is what you want.
Bonus
what
Knuckles.
You want.
It is. It is perfection. I won't lie.
Look, totally fair. Look, I've been dipping my toes into trying to buy a car, and let me tell you, it is like 10 times harder than buying a PS5. It turns out. I should have expected this, but yeah. Worldwide shortages aren't just for gaming stuff. Who knew?
Are you going for a new car, or are you going for like a second-hand boy?
I'm actually trying to go for a new boy, and it turns out that just like PS5s, you look at the pre-owned listing for some of the cars I'm looking at, and they're all more expensive than the new one because you don't have to wait 7 to 10 months for them. So yeah, that just wild, a wild time we live in.
That's mad.
Speaking of wild, though, I mean, I've been moving house all week. I'm currently operating out of a tiny back room at my new place. By no means set up, but for a sneaky peek at least for you two, that's my current setup. Sorry, audio and just everyone else. But,
okay, I legit love that.
Peter, how about you describe this scene?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're looking at is, so there is a lovely gaming chair, and I think there's at least one desk. Is it 2 desks or just one desk?
Two.
It is 2 desks. 2 desks. We've got a curved monitor. We've got a slightly larger normal monitor. And we have got
65-inch TV.
It's a 65-inch TV, not even a monitor. And then you've got every packing box under the sun next to it.
All branded with Logitech.
All branded with Logitech, like an absolute champion. And it's all condensed. It looks like it all fits into like a 2x2 square. It is. It does not look like there's not a lot of space there. There's not a lot of space. That is gorgeous, though. Yeah, that is impressive. Like, your face is like pretty much right up against that monitor, hey?
No, actually, I've got about the same distance from a normal desk. I'm about 30 centimeters away.
Oh, not bad.
No, bigger than 30.
Nice.
And the chair, I've got enough space to roll it back to use the TV for playing the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Nice.
So it's all very comfortable. It's just enough space. It's going to work for this interim location.
This is good. Well, I'm glad you've got some semblance of normalcy coming after moving. Moving is a very stressful thing. And yeah, it can take a little while to get yourself unpacked and stuff. But no, that's I'm glad that you've got the essentials down. Even if you haven't got all the stuff you need to eat out yet and everything like that, you can get your Xbox
Not as
on.
important as playing Xbox.
Yeah.
Not at all.
As a personal trainer, I can officially say, disregard nutrition, play Xbox. You can quote me on that. You can quote me on that.
And that's coming right from him.
That's coming
from
the man himself.
Let me just, I want to thank Zora for bringing their wonderful voice, despite this stack of Logitech boxes and cramped course. And I'd like to thank Master Trainer Peter for continuing to allow us to talk about general games on what is clearly just a Digimon Survive channel now.
It is a Digimon Survive channel. I cannot believe the performance of some of these videos. It's just fantastic, which is really, really cool. I am definitely, for those who are wondering what the hell we're talking about right now, currently the podcast is hosted on the MTP Gaming channel on YouTube, and I've been putting out some stuff about Digimon Survive because I'm very excited about Digimon Survive, and the videos are performing extremely well for a channel that had less than 200 subscribers. So yes, like I did one on the Gilmon pre-order DLC, which is a whole thing I'll talk about later. Don't you worry. For Digimon Survive, and it is now on 30,000 views after 2-3 days. So it's pretty impressive. So it's pretty much a Digimon Survive channel now, and that's fine. We can deal with that. Sorry if that makes it didn't make any sense, but now it does make a bit more sense. And speaking of sorries, we actually have a new section for the podcast. It is Apology Corner. Barlow, do you wanna take it away? You've got something you want to apologize for. Repent. Repent.
The way you set it up sounds much worse than it is.
Oh,
no, this is
100%.
just a segment that I push for because, whenever I'm talking on a mic for a podcast, I like to listen back and make sure I'm not making mistakes, and sometimes I make mistakes. So I just wanted to correct myself from last episode when I twice called the PS Plus extra, the deluxe tier. I just called it extra twice. I also said that there was a game trial for a free game every week on Nintendo Switch Online, which is just blatantly not true. It usually lasts a week, but it only comes up every couple of weeks. And that's all for that.
Well, thank you for your honesty. We will forgive you in time for your misgivings. And
Thank you.
Cool. All good. I don't have anything to apologize for because I'm continually right.
I believe the repentance is for Hail Knuckles.
What? Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, you'll have to say it at the end of the podcast. Okay? You have to do it live on air.
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, enough of that, you rowdy lot. Let's get into the new news. And we're going to start off with Bayonetta 3, of course. Because Bayonetta 3 has a new trailer. It's got a fantastic new mode. And it's got an actual genuine release date. Barlow, what do you want to talk about with that one?
Oh, just the final. Well, it might not be the final, but it could be the final piece of probably the biggest question mark of Nintendo's year is finally solved. This is the piece slotted in October, just after Persona 5 Royal and Mario & Rabbids sequel, Sparks of Hope. And it is a very, very busy month across all gaming at the moment at this point. Yeah, I'm just excited to see like the year feeling like a normal gaming year, because there was a lot of uncertainty, particularly in the second quarter of the year, as we talked about before. So I'm very, very excited for this one. It is the third and possibly final 3 of the year, along with Splatoon 3 and Xenoblade 3, all of which are very, very hyped among their respective fan bases, and are going to hold up the Switch's year quite nicely, I think. Do you guys agree?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been a Bayo fan for years and years and years. So having the third one finally come out on the Switch is going to be fantastic. I really like the whole kind of kaiju-esque situation we've got going on with like these big summon sort of things, and I'm very excited to see that all come out. What about you, Zora? You've played Bayo? You've played the Bayo series before?
I've played a little bit, but I've actually apparently played the worst version, which was the PS3 version.
Oh, gross.
Oh, no. Don't let that happen to you. Oh, my word.
Yeah, so I do eventually have to go back to it, but I do enjoy the way that Platinum Games does their combat. So I might be picking up Bayonetta 3, even though I know nothing about it except for the fact that everyone wears glasses.
Everyone does wear glasses, that's right. And
It is a requirement, yes.
it's not a plot point, is it? I can't remember. But
No.
It's interesting you say about playing, going back and playing that one, because you know what got announced for physical re-release on the Switch, don't you?
Oh yes, that's true. Bayonetta 1.
Bayonetta 1 is coming back onto the Switch. Yes, well done, Fulka. That one is coming back 30th of September, I believe.
Yeah, it's a very limited release. This game did come out digital only, I believe. All the physical copies of Bayonetta 2 came with a digital copy of Bayo 1. This was within the Switch's first year. I think it was January or February of 2018.
Yeah, I think it was.
So yeah, I mean, I picked that up at launch and played Bayonetta, I think around that year I did. but I actually didn't play Bayonetta 2 at all. Until I told a bunch of my mates who are really into it, I'm like, look, just listen, I'll play it eventually when Bayonetta 3 gets a release date. So we'll certainly come back to that at the end of the podcast. But yes, very, very keen.
It's very exciting, and there's even a new special edition, collector's edition called is it Masquerade Trinity or Trinity Masquerade version, which has got like some really cool artwork, like alternate art slips for the 3 games, and it apparently makes up one big picture. And then I think what else is there? There is.
I've actually just linked it in the chat. It comes with a 200-page art book.
That's very good.
And
yeah,
that's
I initially thought that was steelbooks, but nothing beats a steelbook, a Switch-based steelbook for me in terms of collector's edition stuff. But the slicks is a good idea. I really liked what they did with the. I think it was the Fire Emblem one of the special editions. I think Three Houses came with alternate slicks. No, sorry. You could download them from the My Nintendo.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Anyway, I like alternate art slicks. They're really cool idea.
Switch does that really well in general, though, doesn't it? Like, they do the other slicks, like the inside of the game has like alternate artwork and stuff, and there are certain games where you can just reverse the cover. Actually, the one that comes to mind right now isn't actually a Switch game, so that doesn't really work. But I was going to say Tales of Arise on the Xbox has a really nice alternate art one. But yes. Sonic Mania has
a Quest on that. Yep.
Yeah, Sonic Mania's got the really cool retro Sega Mega Drive version on there, and I'm pretty sure, did Nier Automata have a one, or was it
on the PlayStation 4? Maybe.
And Final Fantasy
it's been
7.
a while. Yeah, 7 Remake had a cool one. All the Disgaea games do. Yeah, it's a lot of RPGs, Japanese games. Yeah, but there's the internal stuff of a lot of official Nintendo-made Switch games. They usually do something cool on the inside. And 13 Sentinels, as you pointed out, has a little cat, one of the characters, right behind where the cartridge goes.
Teeny weeny cat. Cool.
Yeah, that character in that game is he's not what he seems. But anyway, enough about that.
Questions. Well, there's also
13 Sentinels. Play it. Just play it.
Just play it.
Just play the game.
I've got it on PS4 and Switch now. Anyway. So there are other bits of new news apart from playing 13 Sentinels. And one of the big ones, actually, this was broken by, was this Jason Schreier who broke this news of this one? Which is that the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake has been indefinitely delayed. Which is... Oh, I'm so sorry, Zora. I'm so sorry. It was apparently they fired 2 of the directors from the game in the last month. And so there's just a big question mark as to what is going on with that game. It's pretty sad, because like I remember there being a lot of hype about KOTOR when it got announced, like the remake anyway. Wasn't that one of the PlayStation showcases?
I think it was that or a State of Play. One of the two. Was it a PlayStation exclusive? Did I imagine that?
I feel like it. Yeah, I feel like it was a PlayStation exclusive.
It's definitely a PlayStation trailer that they showed off originally.
Yeah.
PlayStation Showcase. Yeah.
PlayStation 5 and PC, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
My word, yeah, okay, it was an exclusive. Do you think it stays that way if it gets indefinitely delayed?
Depends if Nintendo buy it or not.
Okay. Oh, you, Peter. Please, that's not going to run on the Switch.
It's what they did with Bayonetta, anyway.
Oh, yes, but...
Yeah.
But Bayo didn't quite have the same pull as Star Wars, though.
Yeah, maybe not. So the... who's the studio for it? It's Aspyr?
Yeah, Aspyr Media.
And they were bought by Embracer Group last year. Yeah, they fired
I don't know.
They fired the design director and the art director. And now they're
You don't want to fire too many directors of a game and expect it to still show up.
No, exactly. And yeah, they've apparently they had a demo of the game ready for production partners, so they were showing it to some of the big bosses, and they weren't happy with it. So yeah, the directors have been fired, and now now they get the project's on pause, which really sucks. Really sucks.
Well, okay. Schreier's report indicated that developers within Aspyr felt that the game would realistically not release until 2025, with some believing that the project would be outsourced to Saber Interactive entirely.
Mm.
And that's on Bloomberg. Wow.
Well, interesting.
Wow. Zora, what's your
Okay.
take on this?
I look, I will wait longer. Like that's my general feeling on it. That's for sure. It is a great game. Revan is my favorite. He's just super cool. I like how you make the choices. That first time playing through it was just so good. I'd say spoiler alert, but I feel like at this point people know. The game came out originally almost 20 years ago, but the
Yeah,
twist and
I'd
the
say one of the top
writing,
10 most famous gaming twists. Probably not
yeah,
outlandish to say.
the fact that BioWare really they hit it home with the original writing. So, I mean, I would be really intrigued to see the game modernized in some way, but I mean, at the base level, the game's actually just D&D. Like, it's all done on that same sort of style of a standard RPG system for at least a Western RPG. But hopefully we'll see it soon. But yeah, look, 2025 is a long way. I really hope that they get people on who have the right vision for it. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really important to make sure that you've got people who will honor the game with a release like that. I mean, yeah, it's so well revered. You know what I mean? The Knights of the Old Republic is just such a landmark Star Wars game. It's got to be done like anything less than. You can't have perfection, but anything less than near perfection is not going to be good enough for it. I think that's a bit of an issue that we'll see critically. So yeah, they're going to have to really, yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, particularly with BioWare's recent history. I know they're not directly involved with the remake, but EA probably wants to get this right, given what's been happening and how long Dragon Age 4 is taking. Yeah, on that note, I earlier today saw a hairdresser called Fade Empire, and I was like, if that's a BioWare reference, I'm coming here for my next haircut.
It's just BioWare art all over the walls.
That's it. That's it.
Of course.
Did you guys ever play Jade Empire?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, I never did either. I think it was an Xbox original one, but it always looked cool to me. I always like wanted to be someone who could play it. I think it was like maybe because like when I had a game given nothing else, and my friends had it on Xbox, and I was jealous. But it always looked cool.
Did you know that BioWare worked on a Sonic game?
What?
Yeah. Was it what's something Chronicle? Was it? Was it?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah. Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
On the DS, it was like a turn-based game. It was cool.
It was a really cool concept for a game with arguably the worst music in the series. Arguably the worst music on the DS. If you listen to the that's like the one thing that Sonic always does well is music. If you listen to the music for it, they like super compressed it, and so it just sounds like it's disgusting. It's actually disgusting. But it was a really cool concept for a game. And then there's the whole, look, do you know what? I'm not going to get into why they didn't make a sequel, because there's a whole lawsuit behind it, not involving me, obviously, but there's a whole weird thing with it. But like we haven't actually got this written down, because I was thinking with the Knights of the Old Republic, and it was Jason Schreier who I did just check it was him who broke it. There was actually something else that a bit of news that he broke today or yesterday, depending on, it was actually yesterday for us. He broke a bit of news about Grand Theft Auto 6. Did you hear about that?
Oh, not yesterday.
So
breaking news
there was
on the podcast.
Yeah, so basically a lot of the stuff is like, a lot of the article is that Rockstar have really cleaned up their act, and they've spent a few years like cutting out the more toxic parts of the game production, and they're making it a better environment to work, which is good, because I remember hearing a lot of criticism about Rockstar's working conditions. I remember hearing a lot of criticism about that a few years ago.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, it's one employee, because they spoke to a bunch of employees who are working there or have recently left, and they were saying that basically they've been kicking out managers who were accused of abuse. They've cut down on overtime, and they said it's transformed from a boys' club into a real company, which is really good. They also, this is an interesting thing I didn't realize, Rockstar recently removed transphobic jokes from the recent re-release of GTA 5, the PS5 and Xbox One. which I wasn't aware about that. They cancelled an online mode called Cops and Crooks after the George Floyd protests. And they've also, the thing about GTA 6 is that they have said that it will have the first playable protagonist woman in modern Rockstar history. It's going to be a female Latina protagonist. And naturally, men on the internet are having an absolutely normal one over that one. Absolutely normal one. Very normal.
So normal.
So
right,
normal.
no, I thought you were referring to the but I think that wasn't today. That was like a week ago. There was news saying that they were canceling all rumored or actual remakes of other old stuff and focusing everything on GTA 6.
I did hear that,
which is like the opposite of where I thought they were going. So that is, either way, a lot of good changes, isn't it?
Yeah. They said they said that. Oh yeah, well, there was a remake of Red Dead Redemption, but you clearly don't want that because of the sales of the GTA trilogy. It's like, no, the GTA trilogy was bad. Like it was badly remastered. That's the problem.
It's just not a good game.
It's not that we didn't, because I really wanted to play Vice City again, but also you didn't. Unfortunately, you lost out on the music licensing rights, and with no Billie Jean, it's no sale. So,
sad times.
Sad times. Zora, have you seen much about the GTA 6 stuff then, or have I just broken the news to you?
I'm literally finding out as we speak. I like the what you've said about them getting rid of a few of the transphobic jokes. That was really cool to hear. Very inclusive.
Very good.
And apparently, because as you break it down, I'm scouring the internet as you've been saying it. An old school GTA game also allowed you to play as a female character.
Yeah, that was the thing. It said they specifically said in modern Rockstar history, so it must have been. Would it have been like GTA 2 or GTA London or something like that?
The first GTA.
I haven't thought about GTA London in a long time.
It's just Grand Theft Auto, 1997.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's top-down ones.
So, I mean, I'm excited to see that. That'd be pretty cool. The sass that could come from that will be lovely. And of course, I'm loving the fact that people are having a normal one, as you put it, towards the general. Go ahead.
There's a what's his name? There's a gentleman called Ryan Brown, who is the head of PR for Super Rare Games, and he put up a lovely little tweet about it, and I wanted to read it out on here. Grand Theft Auto is going to be political now, says the fans who must have played every entry of the series that deeply satirizes the problems of American politics and culture with the sound muted for 20 years.
I literally spent the first 2 hours of GTA 5 sitting down and watching the in-game TV, and it's wall-to-wall political jokes.
Yeah. Was it GTA 5 GTA 4 that they got people to ring in and like scream down the phone, and they used it for adverts or like for a radio show on there as like screaming down the phone about like the political state at the moment or something like that. I
don't know. I think GTA 4 was my well, I'm not hugely into GTA in general, I suppose, but like I definitely didn't play a lot of 4. I think because it was like I still only had a Wii when it came out.
It's just absolutely normal one. But it's cool that we're seeing a better gaming working environment from such a large studio from that. You know, Rockstar, obviously, one of the largest. I mean, they've got to be one of the largest studios in the world as far as like kind of like renown and recognition and stuff goes. Like pretty much everyone knows who Rockstar are. So seeing them cutting out the bad stuff, like destroying the toxicity within their working environment to be able to produce a better work environment for those who are there is just going to be good. I think it's just going to pay dividends as far as the quality of the game goes. That's awesome. That's really, really good. Now, next up on new news, we have a little, a cheeky leaky, and I'm not quite sure if has there been a full-on announcement for Tactics Ogre Reborn, or is it literally just the leaks are just so substantial?
I've been hearing about this game for most of this year, maybe even a bit of last. I can't even remember. Like, look, already the year of Tactics and seeing like actual screenshots and just, I mean, it's. Please,
it's that full on, like screenshots and all. Wow. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently for the 11th of the 11th, which ballsy release date. I mean, I know it's the year of tactics, but I mean, right in between Pokemon and God of War. And sorry, of course, I must always not forget Skull and Bones,
Of
or
course.
potentially Sonic Frontiers. So
Yep.
Point is, it's stacked. Tactics Ogre Reborn is going to have to use some tactical knowledge to get around that one.
not one of your better ones, Peter.
Look, I'm wearing a hoodie. That's my excuse for that one. It's dampening my funny.
Yeah, that's it. It's
warm and
you're
cozy.
too warm. You're too
warm,
toasty,
too cozy.
too comfortable.
I can't think of anything to do with Ogres and Reborn. Anyway, that's yeah. But cool that that's
Shrek
happening.
jokes everywhere. Shrek jokes everywhere, and you're just letting them fly by. You know, I don't know if I'm proud of you or disappointed. This is quality material
Oh my god, that's
for the
beautiful.
patrons. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's very good. Anyway, look, yet another tactics game, which is very, very. I would recommend to Zora if it does indeed release on that time, which I don't believe it will, because if you
I
like
wasn't-
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, you I think will really like this.
I'm already looking at the screenshots that Square Enix have put out, and why don't I have this game in my hands yet?
Why indeed? It'll come to Switch, surely. Square Enix, surely. Surely.
better.
What consoles?
Yeah, Square.
Are there any consoles or
It's not real, Peter. It's not a real game.
what?
It hasn't been announced. How can there be consoles for it?
Because of reasons.
Leak on PlayStation deals.
Well, there you go. So it's coming out for PSP, is what you're hearing. Fantastic stuff.
I mean,
Yeah,
apparently
it's-
that's what the original was on.
Being
So,
released on PSP.
oh, it was on SNES. So there's a
there-
chance.
Yeah, there was a remaster on PSP / remake. I think it was a remake.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, it's going to be good. It's going to be good for those who are fans of the tactics genre, which is very good. We've also had in the recent news as well, we've had some DLC, some free updates for a couple of big recent Nintendo releases. So first off, let's have a little chat about Mario Strikers Battle League, or Battle League Football, depending on where you are located in the world. We got a couple of new characters, and I believe there was like some armor sets and some new pitches as well. Have you tried them
there's
out?
a Knight armor set and a which is one of the advanced armor sets in the game that gives you more than just one stat up, one stat down. There is one new it's like a desert stadium, and you get to play a Shy Guy and Daisy, who was the big why is she not in the base game kind of
Yes.
situation. I did give her a spin on my team. The team that I used on launch day had Waluigi, Wario, and Peach, and then I had Luigi in the defense. And his stats are very similar to Daisy, so I just swapped her in, and fits quite well. That game still plays incredibly, but this is not the kind of content that is probably going to bring new players. I mean, it might, because Daisy's like a big name, I suppose, but it's still not fixing many of the issues with the game in terms of being able to play with the amount of people online that you want to and stuff like that, which is a shame. But it's nice to have, and it's the first of what will no doubt be many free updates if Mario Golf and Mario Tennis are anything to go by. But the other Switch game update might be a bit more Master Trainer Peter branding. So what's that?
Yeah, a little bit. So Nintendo Switch Sports. You said something in there that is really interesting that I am definitely going to mention. So yeah, it's good because it's relevant. It could spark further conversation. So basically, Nintendo Switch Sports has launched its first DLC update. That is a version 1.2.0. And what that includes is the fabled new soccer mode, which is actually fantastic, if you ask me. It is basically you've got a leg strap. You've got the leg strap, so you've got the Joy-Con on your leg, and you do all the kicking with your leg, with your little leggies, and then you run as if you are doing so. When you're running in real life, you swing your arms back and forth. You are doing that to dash Otherwise, the game actually auto moves you, or you have control with the Joy-Con controller, with the joystick. So you can manually
Oh,
control.
you can joystick control.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You can just, and it will auto aim you towards the ball, or you can direct yourself as well. And then you can dash with your little arms going crazy, like woo, 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 sort of thing, which is really, really cool. And in offline, it is fantastic. You can actually take it to the pro leagues as well. Where it's not quite so good because you definitely sacrifice accuracy and ability to aim properly. Like, because with Switch Sports, with the normal soccer, if you've got all the different types of shots, so swinging the Joy-Con in different positions and different velocities will dictate the type of shot that you take. Whereas there's only basically one type of shot that you can do, because it's just a normal kick and it will choose the kick for you, so you can't aim as well. So when it comes to the Pro League, it's not quite as good, but in offline, it's baffling how this wasn't in the base game. It's baffling how it wasn't there at launch, because this would have made that so much more enjoyable. You know,
it's a weird one, because you are right, absolutely. Why wouldn't it be? But then at the same point, it's like when they announced it, they almost admitted it, that it should have been, because it was one of the two things they promised would come after launch, wasn't it? Along with golf, which they're presumably still working on. So that's interesting.
If you want to go into the data mines for stuff, do you know how much of golf is already in the game?
I don't, which I feel like is admitting that I should have watched some videos of yours. I don't know.
No, that's all right. You can basically, like, we know the amount of courses, we know what the courses are pretty much, we know the titles and the achievements that you get and the amount of points you get for them. There's most of the tips for golf are already in the game. They've been in there since the base game. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, wow.
But they haven't got the actual gameplay in there. They haven't got them. So I'm assuming that it's a problem with the mechanics, and they're having a bit of a problem with the motion control for it.
Has there been much backlash among the community for it being like, because Nintendo occasionally cops,
the data mine stuff is
particularly their sports games.
There's not a lot of people
for launching unfinished games.
This is the thing. Like, it's like you hear all the stuff about, like, and I've heard it about Mario Strikers as well, about it being an unfinished game and them adding content later to bulk it out, but that should have been there in the base game. And to an extent, I'd say that's kind of, it's a fully functional game on its own, so therefore it's not unfinished. I think that's just it. Often it comes off as a bit of a kind of, a cop-out insult sort of thing that people use when they're just angry about stuff for whatever reason. But with some of the Switch Sports, part of me feels like, is it? I know that they had production issues. There's a Q&A with the developers where they said essentially they developed the game to about the halfway point and then realized it was crap, and then they had to redo the entire thing, but they didn't have much more time to do it. So like they had to restart production in the middle of production, basically. Kind of similar to what they did with Metroid Prime 4, except they'd already announced Metroid Prime 4 beforehand, whereas they didn't with Switch Sports. I'd imagine that they would have put out a similar sort of, hey guys, this is a similar sort of situation there, like a little announcement saying we've had to restart it for quality reasons. So I wonder how much that has impacted it, whether they were like, right, we've got enough to make a game, release that, and then we'll finish the rest of it. But like, you can't like play the golf courses and you can't see most of them. It's just basically they've been ported over from like Wii Sports Resort. Like, it's the same sort of thing.
Well, yeah. When you look deep into like basically any Zelda game from the last 15 years, most of them also apparently restart development with a big chunk. They take like 5 years each to make, so there you go. So
there's stuff left over from like demo code. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't take out everything that was planned for it. Like, they may have had a plan for something or other. There's the whole rumors about free roam mode with Switch Sports, where it could be that they genuinely planned to have a free roaming style mode, and then they removed it early in production, but they've not taken out the stuff from the game's code that relates to it, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, interestingly, hearing your take on the state of Switch Sports Day One, Yeah, because Mario Tennis was one of the big ones that copped it. I think because it was the first one out of the blocks, and also because 2018 was filled otherwise with ports and stuff. So I think it got unfairly
Yeah.
hit on. That's still one of my top Switch games for a solid year. While they kept releasing new content for it, it was like
Aces was
there were
fun.
times it was more played than Smash among some of my friend groups. Like it,
Yeah.
that it just had such solid mechanics in that. So yeah, like if you're, but yeah, I think I also see the other side. Like if you're not into the base mechanics, you don't have like the exact like type and amount of friends, then it can be quite rough
Definitely.
going.
And I think
But I think with
that's
Switch Sports, because it is a more casual audience, even in the normal Mario Sports games, maybe that's why we're not hearing a lot of backlash. Well, I'm not.
yeah.
Maybe you, because you're more in it. But yeah,
There's not a massive amount of backlash I've seen, but I think the thing is that what you said about Mario Strikers, is it enough to bring new players back into it, or is it even enough to bring old players who've given up back into it? As far as this update goes, because there's more stuff as well. You've got friend rooms, so you can make a room on thingy and be like give out the code to random people, and then they can come play. So it's good for content creators who want to play with their families, viewers and friends and stuff. So that's really cool.
There's also my, the biggest news of all is Matt has returned.
Oh my god! Yes, of course, Matt is back. And yeah, it's really cool. Like it's a nice little Easter egg. Basically, if you, it's almost like a cheat code. If you hold down the right buttons when you're selecting a offline character, not an offline character, an offline difficulty. If you're doing an offline mode, then you get to fight me characters, and it's generally the me characters who were the hardest opponents to fight in the relevant sports to them in previous games. So like with Matt, it's Chambara. With Chambara it's Matt. With Chambara it's Matt, and then you've got other people whose name I've got them written down because I did a video on this earlier. They have Tommy and Elisa in tennis. You have Sakura in badminton. You have Lucia and Yoshi in volleyball, and then in soccer you have Miguel, Anna, Gwen, and Saburo as well. So it's really cool. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do, which is really cool. There's also extra moves in volleyball. There's like a slide attack, which is essentially you kind of like trick your opponent into thinking you're going to spike the ball from one area, and then you quickly jump to the other side of the court and spike from there. So it creates some more mind games. And yeah, there's a lot more cosmetics as well, including a absolutely horrifying lollipop body. Like it's like a body type instead of a human body, it's a lollipop, and it's disgusting. I hate it so much, so much.
wow, yeah, it just sounds it.
It's genuinely like a Family Guy fever dream. It's so weird. And it's just there's a lot of cool content in there. It's pretty consistent and bulky, but like what you said about Mario Strikers is it enough to bring the older players back in? And I don't think that this is. I don't think there's enough substance here to get people who aren't interested in playing the base mechanics back. And I think that they'll have, like, because Switch Sports hasn't got a lot of content apart from online, and it just kind of gets a bit boring over time, and I don't think this is going to do much to save it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll hurt sales though, because it's still gonna trade on nostalgia for a little while. Like it's still selling as far as we understand, right?
As far as they are, yeah, I think it is still selling. Have either of you played it? Zora, did you play it?
Unfortunately, never got the chance to. Hopefully soon I'll get to pick it up.
It could be a good one to
play on stream.
Yeah, it could be good to do on stream, and especially if you want to do a game with viewers. The free update now gives you the opportunity to do that without having to give out your friend code.
That makes life easier.
Exactly. You still can't play Pro League with your mates though. Bad stuff. But I think the last bit of
I haven't played it either, but only because I think it's timing. Yeah, it was just very, very, very poor timing in my personal life. But like I guess like I still have it, and I'm going to play it one day. And it looks like the longer I wait, the better it'll be. So yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that's true. We'll have to do a just playing games, and we can play together. But there's one more cheeky bit of new news, and that one is to do with Skate. This one is to do with Skate, and I'm assuming you're talking about like Skate 4, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was. Was it ever called Skate 4 officially? Or was it just a reboot? Zora, do you know?
I don't think it was ever officially called 4. I think that was just a rumored, lovely rumor. The award-winning Skate franchise is back. It's just going to be called Skate. Yeah, Skate full stop.
Skate full stop.
Yep.
Nice. And this is apparently free
Yeah,
to
it's going to
play.
be free to play. Yeah. So, look, I understand the nostalgia. Everyone who was like, there was a meme going for a good half a decade when EA was having consistent E3 showcases that, there was a semi-vocal audience calling for Skate 4. As, particularly in those dark days where there weren't any like Tony Hawk, or there was a really bad Tony Hawk. Number 5 was awful. And there weren't all these cool little indie skate games like we have right now. Like Session and Skatebird and all this other stuff. So, look, I mean, it being free to play, the word is initially shocking, but I think it's going to be a pretty good idea. Like, free to play with that kind of audience, going all right. Fall Guys doing good things. Rocket League doing good things. Obviously, Fortnite killing it. Why not? I say, why not?
Yeah, free to play model as long as it's done well, it's pretty cool. You don't have to spend money on it, and you can still have a good time. But if you want to spend money on it, as long as it's not too predatory or anything like that, I think it's okay.
Yeah, look, I mean, yeah, big asterisk. It is EA, but I mean, ugh,
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. Don't know.
I'm surprised it's not called Ski 8.
That's a stretch, but like, all right.
E8. Or just
E8.
yes, let's put the EA name further into the branding. Why not?
Yes, let's
They've already bought Formula One. Like,
Formula A1.
We did actually
That's
have, speaking of like free to play models, we had Multiversus actually release in open beta with a quite sizable roster of characters.
yeah.
And
How many was it?
17,
Wow, really?
I believe is the current. Hang on, let me.
Because that is doing numbers as far as your as far as actual like concurrent players go. It's doing really well.
Free to
isn't it?
play. So good idea.
It looks like, from what I've been told, which I'm actually just confirming that now as we speak, the business model looks very close to like League of Legends rotating people. Which I wouldn't put past it. That's for sure.
So is it like there's certain characters who are free to play at a certain time, or you can buy them to permanently unlock them? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so they'll be like on rotation. I'm just trying to apparently log in. WB Games. Sorry, this is, I know, perfect podcast info here, but I'd like to get this right for you all.
And we appreciate that because you don't want to be going to Apology Corner. You don't want to be.
I don't want to go to Apology Corner. Yeah.
You don't have to say Hail Knuckles.
It'll come for us all. It'll come for us all.
It will. I'm going to have to apologise for the terrible jokes that I've been putting out today.
Never.
They have been pretty.
I was trying to look for like the most expensive pack you can buy. I think it was like upwards of like it was a couple $100.
Oh,
I saw one for 150. There was one for 90 on the Xbox.
And they were
store.
talking about enough to buy, and the number of characters it would buy you was like over 20. Like it was a lot more than were in the base game. So
Yes.
yeah, the
You
plan
mentioned
seem-
that.
Yeah.
This is the
in
one
big.
with
I've
Tom
got
and
a list
Jerry.
of leaked characters.
Tom and Jerry's in this game, right?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Good. I that makes me instantly want to play it.
So are Rick and Morty. Apparently, they're not. They weren't in the trailer, but I knew they were going to be there.
So is LeBron James.
So is LeBron James. So it's Space Jam meets Game of Thrones meets.
It's the weirdest thing since Danica
Just,
Patrick appeared in that Sega game. But yeah, so Multiversus is for those who don't know, Multiversus has very much got this whole
Got a battle pass.
yeah, it's got this. It's like a Smash vibes, right? Smash vibes.
Yes.
Heavy Smash vibes.
So it's got a battle pass, you say?
Yeah, it's got a battle pass. It's the battle pass gets you. What does it get you? Anything interesting that's worth, sort of jumping in on it? There's a free battle pass and a premium battle pass. Premium get you. What is that? You get so you get like skins, emotes. Oh, okay. It's got a Jake variant which turns him into Cake. From Adventure Time. So that would be changing up the entirety of the character's vibe, visual, vocals. So essentially, it's like a clone character, I guess, or shadow character, I guess. What's the term we're looking for here? Kind of like how you've got Scorpion and then you've got like Noob Saibot, and they're like different but the same.
In Smash, what are they called? They are called Echoes.
Echo Fighters. That's it. They've got, of course, a currency you can buy.
Is there
called
a currency you
Gleamium.
can earn?
Yes, there's 2 currencies. But I'm not sure what the shield icon is. But yeah, and they've even got their own personal, not personal, but their own original character called Rain Dog, which is like a reindeer dog with like a mustachy thing going on with a love heart above its head that's floating. It looks adorable. I strongly recommend checking it out. I believe Rain Dog. Yeah.
Rain Dog.
But it's a support character as well. But the overall roster looks pretty fleshed out. But we already have a stacked list of potential leaked characters through data mining and just game leaks. Marvin the Martian was going to be on the list. One that I'm mostly interested about is Raven coming to it.
Raven is in
DC.
But also Legolas. And Ron Weasley may be coming in.
Yes. Yeah, wow.
Johnny Bravo?
Huge Disney Infinity energy, but in a Smash clone, and you don't have to. Well, you do have to pay for characters, I guess, but not as physical things. Yeah, wow. That there is certainly potential for this.
Yeah, definitely.
Certainly.
Wow, that's that's really made me quite interested in it. Is this just PC?
I mean, I'm on the Xbox at the moment. Let's have a look. So the open beta is currently open beta is available for pretty much all platforms. So PlayStation 5 for Xbox, Xbox Series, and PC. With full crossplay support. Ooh.
So no Switch. Nice. Interesting.
No Switch, even though it looks like it would play perfectly on the Switch.
Interesting.
Remember, the Switch can't handle any games. So,
True.
No games. No Sonic Frontiers.
The Switch doesn't have games.
You're bringing up some old gold, aren't you?
I remember that. Gold. Jeez.
I'm having an absolutely normal one, but not in the same way as the GTA boys.
You are quite loopy, Peter, and I love it. I haven't seen you in this kind of form since the last time we were out drinking.
Oh God, that was a time.
Isn't that right, Zora?
That was some form.
Thank you so much for driving me home.
Happy to do so.
Goodness, good stuff. I actually have some breaking news.
Oh yeah.
To round us out. Look, I don't know if it's a couple of hours old, but it's the first time I'm seeing it. Not that I'd normally report on this, but the PlayStation Plus normal games, the normal tier for August, are insane.
What have we got?
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
That's relevant.
Little Nightmares, and most importantly, Yakuza Like a Dragon. So everyone and their mother, go download Yakuza Like a Dragon.
I've been wanting to play
Persona
that
for
one.
adults, and it's the best Yakuza game, and it's freaking incredible. Also, Tony Hawk's that remaster was amazing, and a lot of people really, really like Little Nightmares. So get yourself among it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Fantastic. That's such a good lineup. They've been putting out some bangers recently because they had Crash before Crash Bandicoot About Time. It is July for that, and that's really good. But yeah, having Yakuza on there, that's fantastic. I've been looking at picking that one up anyway. So
they could have any of those they could have added to PlayStation Plus Extra, and it could have turned my head. But that's just the normal one. That's a big move. Big move.
Yeah,
that's just their normal tier. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna add him on the app right now.
Might be doing the same thing. Let's be real.
You know that all of the Yakuza, or 8 of the Yakuza games, are coming to PlayStation Plus in 2020, right? 2022.
I didn't, but that's cool. I mean, yeah, that checks out. I guess, yeah, they had it. Microsoft had the Game Pass rollout.
Yeah, it looks like most of them are part of the extra and deluxe ones.
Yeah, good stuff.
But yeah,
Sega getting their stuff out amongst.
0, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then 7 is obviously going to be the
That's Like a Dragon. Delicious. Correction, yeah. They have been announced, but they're not out yet because it's not August yet when we're recording this.
No.
But they will be.
Depending
will
on
be
when I
very
edit
soon.
this. Yes.
Very good.
Oh, very good. Well, that pretty much rounds out the new news for this week. What I think we'll do, we'll have a quick cheeky chunky break, and then we will get back in with our normal segments to close it out. We'll see you in a sec. And welcome back after that wonderful, wonderful break. So we are going to go into our regular segment of just playing what we're playing at the moment and what we're looking forward to, as well as we've got a fun little game that we're going to be playing called Frithie's Fever Dreams, and we'll be introducing that a little later. But first, as far as just playing and relating to games that we have been playing and stuff like that, I want to tell you all a little story which has broken my heart. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I have been pretty sick over the last weekend. Did I mention that earlier in the podcast? I'm not quite sure.
Yes, you did.
I did. Fantastic. That could have just been part of the flu. And the kind of not able to tell the time-ness that comes with it. But anyway, basically, I've been holed up on my sofa most of the weekend. In fact, most of the past week, I've been doing that. And so I've had my Switch. I've been playing handheld. I've had American Dad on in the background or something, and I've been swapping between games that I've been playing. And under normal circumstances, what I do with my games when I've taken them out of my Switch, because they are quite small, is I put them in the case that I have. I have a carry case with a bunch of games in it. However, I didn't do that properly with one of the games. And what has happened is we've been cleaning up because we've had a house inspection for the landlords come over and check the house. And so we've been cleaning up and things have got knocked around and blah, blah, blah. The point is that it looks like we've accidentally swept one of the games up with a bunch of rubbish and we've thrown it in the bin and the bins have gone out.
Oh,
no. And that, my dear friends and listeners, is the story of how I've lost my copy of Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Okay.
And I had just caught a shiny Tangler.
Oh. Okay, look.
We have to start a GoFundMe.
I just... All right, I just panicked a lot harder than I should have because I have, I lost my copy of Pokemon Ruby.
I lost my copy of Sapphire.
When I was there. Wow. In the void, they swapped. No, we ended up finding it inside a beanbag that we used to lean on. But years later. But point being, back then, of course, your save data was on the cartridge, and now at least it's on your Switch. But, still, you don't like to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. That's rough. That's not, particularly really when you're already sick.
I'm normally so careful with this sort of thing. And I just wasn't. And I don't know if it was me or my partner who swept it up or whatever. And I can't remember much about cleaning it. And I'm just, it's devastating because Legends Arceus is one of the best Pokemon games that's come out since 2010, in my opinion. It's so good. And I've been playing, I'd been playing it quite a lot because I was really getting into shiny hunting on there. And yeah, now, it's just not happening. It's not there anymore. It's done. So yeah, that's what I've been playing this week, basically.
Oh no, that's awful.
That, and I've been playing that Bloons on my phone. Which has been
nice.
Kind of fun.
I love Bloons.
Yeah, I'm doing the Adventure Time one. It's really fun.
Oh, they did Adventure Time one?
Yeah, it's free to play.
Ooh.
It's worth crack. Worth crack. Finn is very good once you get him to 3 stars. So yeah, very good. But yeah, Zora. What have you been playing?
So, in the time that since our last recording, I have played a fair bit. I've been playing some Deep Rock Galactic,
Rock and
which
Stone, brother.
absolutely loving it. Getting further, finally finished our first tutorial missions, I guess. There's like 15 of them or something you have to do in order to unlock the wider scheme of the game. So that's been a lot of fun. I went back and played some Armello. For those of you who don't know it or do, it's a turn-based strategy game made by, I believe, an Aussie company.
Yeah, I think Armello's Aussie. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they've
based on a
just
board
released
game,
their.
or am I mixing with something else?
I believe
Or is there a board
Armello.
game of it?
I think it was a physical game first.
Gotcha.
But they just released their final update apparently, which is insane because that game has been around since 2015. Where they've actually added crossplay. Crossplay finally released across, everything it's on, which is on numerous devices. It's on PS4, Xbox, Android, iOS, Linux, Mac, Nintendo Switch, and just Windows PC as well. Like it's on everything almost. And so we gave it a go, and the stability has definitely gone up tenfold, really, when it comes to the actual gameplay. Used to have a lot of issues with disconnects, but it seems to have been perfectly fixed, which is superb. So that's one of the big things I did play for a little bit. And then I not to toot the Twitch streaming that I do. I had a birthday stream.
Yes.
And in that birthday stream, I ran Portal 1 for the first time since release.
Oh, how does it hold up?
It's a very good game. I wish I still had that same level of wonder that first time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it at the time it was something else. Apparently the Switch port of that N2 are very, very, very good. They even run at 60 frames. So if you are listening and somehow haven't played that, get on it. Amazing. How jealous are we of you being able to experience it for the first time? My word.
Oh,
what a game. What a game.
So phenomenal. They've also added radios, which apparently they released when Portal 2 came out into the game. And so there's like a bunch of like secret codes that get transmitted when you take the radio to a certain spot in each level. There's one for each chamber. And then then you can decode that, but I'm choosing to not look into that just right at this moment. That was quite cool. So that was a solid. I beat the game in an hour and 40. So pretty short game. I did not realize how short of a game it actually was.
Yeah, it was like a passion project from the Half-Life people, I think.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun there. I had an absolute blast. Then I moved on to a new guilty pleasure, Power Wash Simulator.
How is it?
Oh yeah, it released in 1.0, didn't it?
Yes, it was straight onto Game Pass. I could not have downloaded it quicker.
Fair enough.
And I absolutely adore the game. It's definitely a great way to mellow out after a long day of packing and moving.
I was going to say that would be my perfect if I was moving. I'd be like, I'd need that every couple hours. Just to feel like in control of something.
It was so good. Like I'm probably going to be playing more of that on stream. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we also played a lot. Got a group of people together to play golf with your friends. We had a bunch of like community-made maps off the Steam Workshop, and a couple of hours of just utter chaos with it, which was perfect. Oh, and tried out more Fall Guys. So I've been a little busy actually, but now that I think about it,
yeah, you have.
And that was all over a solid 9 hours. So
that's a hefty stream. My word.
That was a fun time.
And it was a good birthday.
I had an absolutely wonderful birthday.
Fantastic.
Got an IKEA voucher, so I've got myself a new bedside table. Very excited.
Yeah, nice.
So that was a cool idea. And I will be traveling to IKEA more and more frequently.
The meatballs.
Do you live closer to one?
Not in the slightest, but it's close enough to where I go every other day. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. You got to yeah, they do really good soft serve ice cream. Fun fact. I don't know why it's so good. It's like much creamier than the stuff you get at Macca's. And also the machines aren't broken every day, so
That's
bonus.
it's a big one, big important one.
Yeah, a big important one. You have to kick the machine every day to make sure that it breaks at about 4 o'clock. Yes, I've seen the memes.
That's it. That's how they do it.
I've seen the memes. And so, Mr. Barlow, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been quite busy as well, but mostly with newer games. The first one I'm going to start with is aimed squarely at Zora as a hefty recommendation. The game is called As Dusk Falls. Came to Game Pass day one. It is an Xbox timed exclusive, or maybe just exclusive, I don't know. But I've been playing it entirely on my phone. It has native touch controls, like with proper like swipe and tap notifications for the QuickTime events, but it is basically the latest kind of return to the Telltale storytelling scheme, with actually some people from the old Quantic Dream team that has done Detroit Become Human and Beyond Two Souls and those kind of games, Heavy Rain, and it's got a very unique art style with real actors that are freeze framed, and so the animation's a bit sort of jumpy and all that, so it takes some getting used to, but the voice acting is really good. And as a result of not needing to animate a lot of stuff, the story can properly diverge. I am on to the third chapter out of 6, and I played it, just entirely on the train roads. But it has built-in Twitch integration, where you can have your audience vote on an important story branch, and you have, I think, I don't know if it's per chapter or per game, you have a limited number of overrides where you can say, no, I'm taking control of this, I'm making this decision. But if you're out of them, then your Twitch audience chooses for you. So it is a quite heavy story in terms of like subject matter and stuff. But it is, it's gripping so far. And as someone who used to be really into, basically, I would play every Telltale game as they came out. It's been really, really good to play a good one, or a well-told one so far. Obviously, important in how these things end, because it's hard to end any story, let alone a branching one. But so far, at almost halfway, and maybe like 3 hours total played, I am really liking it. And if you're on Game Pass, even if you don't have an Xbox, if you're on Game Pass Ultimate and you have a decent phone, the streaming quality is really good. So even in Australia, so there you are. I've also been playing a bit of cat game, Stray. Funny kind of, not really story. I had a finger injury from years ago that I forgot about, which this game has aggravated and brought back. Because there are parts in this game where you have to sort of vigorously tap both triggers as they push back on you, because it's a PS5 game, to simulate like clawing at, whatever cats do, like scratch things, which sometimes is required for gameplay. And I don't know if you like need to go as quick as I do, but it just feels like you want to match, you see the animation, you want to match it and go as hard as the cat is going. And after I've only played the game for like 2.5 hours. I've played maybe 20, 30 minutes a night to get to that. It's only like a 4 or 5 hour game. Very good, very atmospheric, very cool puzzles, really cool like collectibles and stuff. I have a couple of band-aids wrapped around my right knuckle on my pointer finger, because it is literally starting to hurt doing other things. So there you go. That is the story of how Cat Game injured me. I mentioned earlier Bayonetta 3 got a release date, so I finally played Bayonetta 2 from start to finish in 8.5 hours within 2 weeks. And that game is as insane, if not more so, than the first one. It's certainly a lot more colorful. It's probably easier, but in like a fun way, more replayable. Just so much fun. Although towards the end of it, as I was playing Stray, obviously the dodge button is on the trigger, so I've had to use a different finger to dodge. But aside from that, real good. And then Live Alive is out on, as we talked about last time, and I'm about 5 hours into that. There are 7 different stories in that, and one of them, the Wild West chapter, is about as long as the Portal game that Zora mentioned. So they are varying degrees of length. I'm still playing. I think I put almost 3 hours into just the ninja story because it's very open-ended. And then there's another story I've been playing is the one that's in the far future, and it's very. I mentioned it might have been 2001: A Space Odyssey earlier, but now it's very alien. I've been playing that like 10 minutes, like in bed because it's very relaxing and it's got like there's not a lot of sound design or whatever, and you're just kind of patiently going through this very quiet space station, and you with just hearing like sci-fi like 80s sounds and all that. It's quite relaxing. But then, something, shall we say, escapes that you didn't know was on the ship, and it is no longer a relaxing game. That story. But yeah, so those are the 3 out of the 7 that I've been playing. But they all have this, even though they all have the same battle system, uh, they are they all use it in very different ways. And even though I was excited for this game, I am still finding myself genuinely surprised at how good it is. It's also been reviewing fairly well, so yeah. And those are the big four that I have been playing.
Well then, that is yeah. You've all been so busy. You've had so many games. That's fantastic. I'm really glad to hear that Live Alive's doing well as well, like critically as well as just how fun it is. Like that's awesome. It's really good. And I now want to play Portal.
As you should.
As
Switch version's great.
should.
Get on it.
Exactly. Well, so that's what we've been playing. Obviously, we're all looking forward to Digimon Survive, so there's no point in really talking about that. And yeah, there's some other game called Xenoblade coming out. So yeah, I guess that's something else that we can talk about next time.
I will mention real quick. This morning, I made the call. We're recording the day before it releases in Australia, and I decided to make the call that even though I've played probably a combined total of 90 hours across various versions of Xenoblade 1, 2, and X, I haven't gotten very far in any of them, really. They're very, very, very long games. And so I just made the call. I'm like, look, this third one is supposedly bringing the stories together, so I'm going to finally spoil them for myself. So I have been trying to watch various summary videos that try and link them together and all that, and I've got bits of brain on the walls still that I'm trying to scrape up because it's just so hard to follow and put together, particularly when different videos think that one video might think something is worth glossing over, and another video will spend 5 minutes on it, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's kind of its own little game, trying to understand the story of that. But
There's going to be a video by Derek doing from no, it's just some guy called Derek. No, it's Derek from GVG is doing a Xenoblade retrospective, which will be going over everything in nice chunky detail. Reckons it's going to be around an hour and 30 to an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
You know how Derek Bittner. He's trying to get it out before Xenoblade launches, so I'm anticipating it in the next 24 hours. For those who don't know, Derek Bittner is extremely thorough when it comes to his analyses.
Formerly of Game Explain, of course.
Formerly of Game Explain. The old analysis machine that he used to get out for the Pokemon games are part of what inspired me to do my videos the way that I do them. So I've got a lot of respect for him, and yeah, anytime he brings out a bit of content like this, it is worth checking out. So if you want to go back over the entirety of Xenoblade, including Xenoblade X, and all the DLC that is included around all of the other games, and before playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is going to be a spectacular game, as much as my jokes earlier about it not being worth much. No, of course it is going to be fantastic. I am very looking forward to playing it once I've got my hands through. Once I got my mind through 1, 2, and Torna. But
Get your hands right through it.
Sorry?
That's it. Get your hands right through it.
Right through it. Right in the Xenoblade /
Oh my goodness.
/
I'll be really feeling it. What?
There are 20 entries in the Xeno series? Good lord.
Oh, because you've got Xenosaga as well. And then...
Yeah, from before Nintendo bought them. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
I don't think... There's not too many links in them, but 1 and 2 are apparently somehow combined now, so we will see. There's not really much point talking about much else that I'm excited for, because I feel like I've been doing a lot of homework, clearing out a lot of, particularly since finishing Bayonetta 2, I feel like a lot of my homework has done I come back to school. And I've been thinking about it and looking at it, and I'm like, what do I need to do to actually have a chance at finishing this? Because most of these Xenoblades, obviously, they come out in December, and there's just no hope of getting them done in their calendar year. And I've been doing the math, and I'm like, look, August is mostly quiet. And I've worked it out. If I play from tomorrow 3 hours per day, I'd be at about 80 hours by the time, say, Soul Hackers 2 comes out, and about 110, 115 by the time Splatoon 3 comes out. And that might be good. A hell of a commitment, but you know, I wanna going on the record, I wanna give it a shot. So we'll see.
That is a hell of a plan. Very
That
good.
is,
Well done.
yeah.
Reviews saying I'm hearing a lot of, or seeing a lot of numbers, 130, 140, 150 hour kind of numbers for this length. So yeah, quite scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, July better than December.
Definitely. Yeah. At least you got a chance of finishing it this year. At least.
At least there's a
And yeah,
chance.
before Soul Hackers 2 is a good one to aim for. So yeah, definitely. So we're going to get into a new little segment on Just Playing Games with Master Trainer Peter, where we are going to be just playing the game. And it is called Frithie's Fever Dreams. I have managed to say that one correctly. I'm very proud, because earlier when I was trying to say it, I messed it up every single time. So, Zora, would you like to take us through how Frithie's Fever Dreams worked? Oh.
Yeah, it's a fun word, isn't it?
Back into it.
So
Radio.
confident.
So, with Frithie's Fever Dreams, the idea is that we're going to, well, for example, Frithie is my partner. For statement, Frithie is my partner.
Hi, Frithie.
They have a very interesting brain in the way that they remember old games and nostalgia from what they have played growing up. I absolutely think it's bonkers what they have told me and explained. So this week I have a title. We're going to do the explanation of the game, like what they remember, the year, and then potentially I'll give away the platform it was on as well. But I'll give that around last. But I have all the info in front of me here of what the game is. It's still a game you can technically buy today, but we'll go more into that after I go through how it sort of, as we roll in, is the best way to put it.
So it's not an old school Nintendo game. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we get a certain amount of guesses per round, or?
You can get 3 guesses each, I think, is fair.
Okay.
I wish you luck. I've never heard of this before in my life.
Oh, good.
Yep. All right, so, and I quote, it is an old, potentially Windows XP game, where the protagonist becomes a hero of a lost land filled with dinosaurs, and the end boss is a giant armored-clad evil red T-Rex that transmutes into a small white lab mouse when it's defeated. Also, there is a pterodactyl that looks like he has the power to read your mind, and he is appalled at what he sees. The year is 1995.
Dino Crisis.
No.
It's definitely.
Would you like the platform?
Wow. 95. I'm guessing it's PC. Is that right?
Yes. Do you want the specifics of what it runs on?
You said XP, but could it be?
It's actually older than XP.
What?
It's an MS-DOS game.
Oh my god.
I've got no chance of getting this one.
It also released on Macintosh, 3DO, and the CDI.
The Philips CDI. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Oh my.
Does Peter have an advantage here? This is just not my era. Wow.
In no way, shape, or form. Look, the only game that's coming to my mind, and this is definitely not right, so there's no point in me saying it, but I have no other thing. Like, I'm just thinking about games that old that I would play on PC, and literally the only one I have in mind is Commander Keen. So, it's not Commander Keen, though. Is it?
No, it is not,
unfortunately. It's not Commander Keen.
Just try as well.
It's made by the makers of the original Dune game and a game called Mega Race, which I have never heard of. Oh my god, that looks horrendous.
My word.
It's a FMV racing game. All right, cool.
The game you're talking about is not a racing game, is it?
No, it is simply not. No, it's a point and click adventure game.
Okay, I was going to say, can we have the genre? Okay, that does sound very point and click with mind reading. Did you say a mind reading pterodactyl, or is that a different thing?
That is the. It looks like it can read your mind. Essentially, it looks very. It does. It can't read the mind. He just looks like he's looking into your head and being like, "What are you doing?"
Oh my!
Yeah. Some more info for you.
Okay.
In the game, you must travel to 4 continents and meet with 12 different species of dinosaurs. Each have their own personality, and you must restore peace between man and beast. You will need to travel to the lands of location, because that is literally the title.
The lands
engaging,
of
engaging the help of the dinosaurs and rebuilding lost citadels. It boasts sophisticated cinematics.
Does it now?
Yes. Full speech throughout with an original music score, which I'd say is quite rare for the time. I would think.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. Wow.
An ultra intuitive interface.
Okay, you said the Dune game. Can I have who developed the Dune game?
Cryo Interactive.
Okay.
They also did such things as the Black Moon Chronicles, and it was published by Interplay.
At what point are we allowed to Google this? Because even this might be a struggle to Google.
Like, at this point, would you like the answer? Because it is a bit wild.
Well, I haven't had any guesses, and Peter's had 2. So I feel like if I say, give me the answer, I will be forfeiting some sort of advantage, even though I have no advantage. Because I am lost.
I have no
I feel like I just want.
It's a fun one.
So they made Dune and
they made Dune, and they were published by Interplay, who published Earthworm Jim, Jagged Alliance, like a whole bunch of stuff that you've definitely heard of.
I've heard of Jagged Alliance, yes. Okay.
Shattered Steel, Battle Chess. Oh, they did the original Battle Chess. Huh.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting learned.
Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. Okay.
Right, do we have a Google race, Peter?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Google.
All right. Okay. Quite Lost Eden. I don't want to push the talk, so I don't. If you can hear all this, oh man. Okay. Oh, promising. It's not the devil inside, is it?
No.
That's one guess.
Stone Keep.
No.
Is it Lost Eden?
It is indeed.
Oh, he's done it. Oh, look at that. I'm just terrible, but just okay. Can I read this out?
You most certainly can.
Lost Eden is an adventure game set on an eerie planet populated with dinosaurs. Your civilization is menaced. That's a word. Armies of tyrants led by Morcus Rex are gathering around your kingdom. Soon they will swarm in, destroy everything, and kill your people. However, there is a single hope. There are legends telling that several hundreds of years ago, men and dinosaurs cooperated to build 5 mighty citadels that were almost invulnerable to the tyrants. Today, all the citadels but one have been destroyed.
When you say tyrants, all I'm thinking of is Bomberman.
It could be tyrants, to be fair.
I mean, Tyrann
Tyrannus.
That would just be humans on the planet Terra/Tyrann.
Okay, well, look,
that is your fever dream for this week.
That was truly feverish. That definitely
feverish.
lived up to the tale there. So look, if we're going to keep score, I would just like to remind Peter that I have taken first blood.
Oh, this isn't good. I'll get you. Eventually, I'll get you.
Yeah, look, I think if it's going to be this kind of game, you will eventually come out on top. I don't know if that's just me just saying all British people played PC games as kids, but look, we'll see.
I just go to a lot of caches and see what they've got, and see all the retro games there. That's it.
Fair. All right. Well, just tell Frith that Well, I'm
Check
not
it
going to
out.
swear on the podcast, but you know, that was quite up there.
It's definitely feverish, to say the least.
It was, yeah, that was, yeah. Yeah, I really, yep. My brain
We
hurts.
all learned some things today.
Isn't it great?
Let's
Learning is fun.
The more you know.
take us out of this mess, Peter.
Oh, I don't know how. I don't know how. Well, look, that is your Fever Dream podcast for the day. And look, I hope you've had a great time listening. Thank you so much for tuning in to Just Playing Games. And we are going to be on more podcast streaming services soon. That is coming quite soon. But at the moment, you'll just be able to find us on the MTP Gaming channel on YouTube. Thanks, as always, to my fantastic friends Barlow and Zora for joining me in whatever the hell we were talking about earlier, as we talk about the new news. And, you know, I'm sure we'll be apologising for some stuff next week as well, so it's always good. Barlow, where can we find you?
Yes, Instagram and various other platforms. VAGRANTESQUE, Vagrantesque.
Fantastic. You'll be able to see some fantastic pictures of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on there, I'm sure. And Zora, where can we find you? Where can we tune into you?
You can tune into me at twitch.tv/ZoraWolf, ZORAWOLFE.
Fantastic. Definitely the place to go if you want to see some Cult of the Lamb when that eventually comes out. It's looking really cool. And obviously, I'm Master Trainer Peter. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter with just Master Trainer Peter. Just type it in and see what happens. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for tuning in again, and we will see you next time on Just Playing Games. Goodbye.